And then? Okay, great. Hello and welcome. This is a new episode of Score Sheet. We are going to have a very special episode today. We are going to meet with an expert in sports management and technology. So how to turn sports not only to from something we are practicing as a hobby or for fun. No, it's an industry and it can play a very important role in promoting and boosting the economy of a country. Before we start, let me first welcome our dear guest live here in the studio, Mr. Mohammed Mesbah, our expert in sports management and technology. Thank you very much for being with us, Mohammed.
Thanks a lot. It's my pleasure to be in this channel.
And in Score Sheet, we are going to be with you, inshallah, in many episodes of Score Sheet, but since this is the first time, we are going to start with our press digest. This is a quick look on what was written or what were the most important or prominent headlines which were published on many websites. And here we're going to focus a little bit on Al-Ahram Online and what was written on Egyptian football, on international ones, and not only football. If we do have some sorts of other sports, we are here to fulfill the needs of our viewers. So you are going to be with us?
Yes, for sure. This is my pleasure.
And we are going to start immediately.
Thank you.
We are going to start with El Zamalek, who are going to miss key defender Kofi, top scorer Morsi in league game. Zamalek will have to do without key defender Mohamed Kofi and top scorer Bassem Morsi when they face El Dakhliya as the Egyptian Premier League resumes on Monday after a 7-week stoppage in the wake of Cairo football disaster. Kofi will not be able to return to Cairo in time for the game, as he will take part in Burkina Faso's friendly against Morocco. Also about Bassem Morsi, I think this is the third yellow card for him, so he's not going to be with El Zamalek in their coming match against El Dakhliya in the first week of the Egyptian Premier League after its resumption after the disaster between El Zamalek and MP, the event which unfortunately killed or was the reason behind the killing of scores of fans. Mohammed, before going into the details of El Zamalek and Al Ahli and the Egyptian Premier League, how do you see about the return of the Egyptian Premier League once again, but again in closed doors?
Yeah, it's very interesting that we return back to the sports in our life because it's create a lot of fun for the people, create business at the end of the day, and make the people at the end of the day occupied with some things they like. The only thing I was thinking, and before I attend this interview actually, is are we going to return in the right shape or not? This is the question, because in all over the world there is a way to return back to sports, especially after what's happened last time between Ahli and MP. That means
Zamalek.
And Zamalek. Did we prepare for that? Well, this is the question actually we need to ask ourselves before we return back. Did we prepare the steps or regulations, or I can say the points that we need to handle before that? Because watching it actually it's required us to concentrate. Are we gonna return in a good shape, or we will face any type of problem again? This is very important point.
This would remind me of what I was reading about Real Madrid when they said that there's no ultras anymore.
Yes.
I mean, whenever the fans are not fans anymore and they're turned to be something else, to be a threat or dangerous, a danger imposed on the stadiums, on the matches, then no more ultras.
Yeah.
Do you think that we can do something like this? I mean, imposing those laws on the ground, they can be implemented, or they are going to be only something written and to be once again
I think in Egypt it's different because it's I can say there is no community or there is no organization called ultras. It's kind of group of people who's gathering. You can't control them, you can't manage them. But my point of view here, based on the experience in that in other countries, that you can have steps to avoid any kind of I can say corruption or damage for the industry, which is football itself, by having a specific items and steps need to be killed or need to be finished before they start that. Here, I mean, for example, before we go to this, my opinion that fans need to return back to the matches again. And they need to return back with the law. Very, very clear law. I don't think...
And strict laws.
Yeah, strict laws. Yeah, and organized and planned for that. If we do that, I don't think it's very tough. While we have a huge investment in football now in terms of player prices or even stadiums or technology, I don't think that.
But Mohammed, unfortunately, those ultras, they're very young. I mean, the members of or those groups are very young, and they can be brainwashed,
Yes.
and they can be included or involved, to be accurate, into the political scene, even without knowing anything about politics.
Yeah, that's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
and there are many of them who are poor enough or unfortunately in need for money, so they can be used because of this.
Yeah.
And here, this has nothing to do with the sports.
Yeah, but how we can manage that? This is the issue. Because at the end of the day, you don't have a database for their names, for their ages, for their locations, I can say. That's mean to build a relationship with them in a healthy way, in a positive way. They have a problems with a lot of issues in the country itself. How we can have a clear plan to do that? I can say that, for example, Ahli Club, they gained the relation with them during last year and a half in a good way. Because it's kind of leader. If we have a
Leadership.
Leadership,
And I think also the cooperation between the EFA, or the Egyptian Football Federation, and the clubs themselves, I mean the administrative bodies of the clubs, in addition to even the players themselves.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. If we have such type of, I can say, leadership and cooperation, I think it can be excellent. I can consider Ahli Club story is a successful story in having a good relationship between the fans, and they did mistakes, by the way, during this period. But if you have a mature person, because sometimes we have a mistake, but we can make it bigger if we didn't handle it in the right way.
Yep.
This is actually the challenge. I think returning back to the football and returning back to the matches, I think it's required from us a kind of planning. The problem sometimes in the own industry is not football only, that we have a lack of planning. We have a lack of strategy.
I do have a friend of mine who is all the time speaking about this term, sustainability.
Yes.
We are just looking for
Immediate
the very
solutions.
near future and for the coming few days or for this season. But whenever you are thinking about this sustainable or sustainability issue, you can plan for the far future, for the best interest of the new generation of today.
Yes, that's true. I think it needs to include a lot of factors in football itself. Our stadiums need to be ready for that. We don't need a lot of people there. We need more technology. We need organized seats. I don't think it will cost us a lot of money, even if we do it in the beginning. If we haven't planned, for example.
It's planning and strategy.
Exactly. Planning and strategy.
More than anything else.
And if you're talking now about sports and football, I think we moved to this stage because we are in a country with 90 million almost. You can imagine everybody in this country loves football. Till now, I think we didn't go to this. I can see there is a leader clubs, maybe 1 or 2 clubs in Egypt trying to go to this era, but we didn't reach it extremely as we should do.
We are going to go into this and in details, but let's a little bit go into the technicalities, I may say. And since we were speaking about El Zamalek and El Zamalek, by the way, El Zamalek, I think this is going to be the very first match with the return of the Egyptian Premier League, and it's going to be next Monday, inshallah, El Zamalek and El Dakhliya. But also Al Ahli trio doubtful for Egyptian League resumption, Suleiman declared fit. Al Ahli's trio, Henrik Helmicki.
Yeah.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Sharif Abdel Fadil and Ahmed Khairi are doubtful for a game on Tuesday at the Egyptian Premier League is set to resume. German-Brazilian midfielder who joined on a free transfer in January transfer window, injury-prone midfielder Khairi and Ahmed Abdel Fadil are likely to miss out on the match against Raga due to injuries. By the way, Walid Suleiman for me is something mysterious.
Okay.
I do not know when he was that much fit.
Okay, yeah.
Walid Suleiman is all the time suffering from injuries and severe ones. And by the way, it's not only Walid Suleiman. There was such a period of time when it was very much noticeable in Al Ahli in specific that all the time you are going to find people who are players, of course, who are suffering injuries and recurrent injuries.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Because, again, it's kind of lack of planning for this. Our players, they don't have a kind of, I can say, mentor or manager for their business itself. I can say in Ahli is a good example. When Jose is here, his talent, he's a good coach only. He was a good coach and good leader. He's a person who can prepare them.
And he had such an assistant regarding the fitness.
Yes, exactly.
He was a great, I can't remember his name now, I'm sorry, but he was also a Portuguese.
Yes.
And as far as I remember, that whenever Said Muawad, for instance, or Mohammed Abu Trika were returning back from injuries, in just a few weeks, they would be that fit, even as if they are in their early 20s.
Exactly, because it's required a kind of planning. this is, I can say, each player in the world have a kind of a person who manage his business. It's his business. We don't have that in Egypt in general. Something is very interesting you mentioned about returning back to football matches and all that. Did we prepare the players to return back? I don't think yes, because
not all the teams.
Exactly.
I would say so, because I think that, for instance, if I'm speaking about Sumuha, Petrojet, Al Ahli, Al Zamalek, I think they had some continental competition.
Yes.
I mean, the Confederation and the African Champions League, so they were that much involved into football activity, more or less.
Yes, yes.
As far as I can understand
That's
that.
true.
And some of them are also the youngsters are included into the Olympic team, and they were with Hussam Al Badri, and last but not least was their match against Burundi, and it ended 2-0 for our Pharaohs.
That's true. That's true. I'm talking here not only about preparation as a football itself. Preparation here, from my point of view, in the international teams now, or I can say the big team, they have a kind of coach who's playing with the psychology part itself. Zamalek returning back, and he was, I can say, the champion in the first part. But to return back, it's like a good player. To return him back to the track, it needs a kind of preparation. It's not only, it's about psychology itself.
You mean mental fitness?
Yes, exactly. They will turn back. First match will be 4, I think, or 4:30. The weather will not be in supportive in that. They will, as you mentioned, they lost 2 important players. Are they prepared to
Zamalek lost 2 and Al Ahli lost 3.
Yeah. This is exactly what I mean. Did the coach or the club itself prepare them for such type of a challenge?
Mohammed, we do have already a problem that we don't have many players for the same position.
Yes.
I mean, we are all the time having 1 for 1.
Yes, yes.
And as far as I would understand about football, whenever you do have a good bench, then you do have a good team.
Yeah, Zamalek have a good bench. I can say that. I'll tell you an interesting story. Big international clubs, they're dealing with the club and the player like the companies. They have a kind of succession planning. That's mean if Ronaldo's going out now, there is a rumor saying that he's going to Man United. There is a 5 clubs, sorry, 5 players, are ready to go to on his seat. This is in business, this is in football business called succession planning. How, as in professional clubs and coach, to prepare a successor for each player. That means if someone collapses for any reason, I have a successor. You can see it's very easy in the goalkeeper, for example, in Roma. There is Buffon. He's not the main player now. Even his, exactly.
Buffon, and that's it.
The
legend.
Yeah. This is what I mean. That means they're having a kind of plan. I think we need to move this stage. I can say the coach we are bringing from outside, they understand that well because they practice that. When I was talking with the national coach actually, Cooper, and I was telling him, "Are you gonna implement that in Egypt?" His answer, "I will try to do that," because I told him he was in Italy with Inter Milan, and I told him, "You did that an extremely nice job there. Are you gonna implement that in Egypt?" Because this is called what is planning for the team, coach. It's easy to put. It's easy to put on. I can say the normal plan, but to have a vision. This is the players will be replacing this, and this.
With all my respect to the Argentinian 15 Cooper, I think this is the first time for him in the African continent.
And with the national team.
And with the national team. No, I mean he is not that much acquainted with the African players. And because of this, if we're thinking about Hervé Renard or Khalilovic.
That's true.
But whenever you are speaking about someone who is for the very first time dealing with players from Africa or African players, it's going a little bit harder for him even to understand their mentality.
Yes, that's
but
right.
Let's cross our fingers and say that tomorrow is going to be another day with the EFA to hail Egypt boss Cooper offering Pharaohs full support. The Egyptian Football Association, the EFA, the president of the EFA, to be accurate, Gamal Alam, has hailed Egypt's new coach, Hector Cooper, after his perfect start with the Pharaohs, promising the national team full support in the future. The Argentinian boss claimed his first win in the Egypt help after Thursday's 2-0 friendly win over Equatorial Guinea in a game that seemed as tough. It was heading for a goalless draw at Cairo's Petrosport Stadium.
We can say it's a kind of motivation for him, that's all.
Muhammad, if you permit me, Muhammad, also we do have Arabi, Muhammad, he's my director.
Yeah, sure.
Let's have the coming headline also because it's related to the same issue. Cooper hails talented and well-organized Egyptians. It's his way of thinking.
Thanks
Thank
to
you.
Mr. Trezeguet.
Newly appointed Egypt manager Hector Cooper says Egyptian players are talented and pretty well organized after they claimed a 2-0 friendly win over Equatorial Guinea on his debut. 2 late goals from Bassem Morsi and Mahmoud Hassan Trezeguet gave the Argentinian boss his first win in the Egypt helm. Egyptian players are talented, pretty well organized. They are also able to respond well to the management directives. A win is important regardless of whether it was in a friendly or in a competitive game. I needed to see how the players respond to my directives on the pitch. The resumption of the league is important for us. For sure, it will increase our selection choices. Those were the statements said by Cooper.
Yeah.
For me, the EFA president said that it was great and this is a boost. Okay, amen to that. And what Cooper was saying is also great, also to give a boost for the players after the win. But to start scoring in the very late minutes of the game and to have the second goal in the stoppage time.
Yes, I'm totally agreeing that we can judge or we can say that from the first game or first match, we need to reward people for that. Our philosophy of rewarding should be totally different because at the end of the day, we are paying him money to do the job. This is actually should be our thinking. That's mean to win in Egypt, and I can say in friendly match. It's something. It's not that make us giving such time force them. It's easy saying that the good start maybe. This is all what I can say about that. Cooper himself, people before they arrived to Middle East. By the way, he has a kind of Egyptian Italian, I think, assistant, and he speaks Arabic very good. I met with him. He's a person playing translation because Cooper himself, his English is not that good. That means he needs someone to communicate and believe. This is additional to what you mentioned about mentality. When I start to talk to him in English, his understanding is not that perfect in that. That means there is a kind of link between him. This guy is playing an important role to make him understanding I can say the culture and sensitivity and all that. I think such type of speech after the match, it came through his supportive team. He has two supportive actually guys there. One of them, I think this is his approach usually, that we need to motivate them. But at the end of the day, I didn't see there is a clear plan. I didn't say it's something is fantastic that we need to rely on. We can say it should be, but we can say he need to start in that. At the end of the day, it's one player only who was supporting in that without strategic plan in the field itself. It's a kind of individual who assisted the first goal, who is Trezeguet, and scored the second goal, as you mentioned, the last 5-10 minutes, as I remember.
Yeah.
It's our habit. Sometimes we thank people who is something good, but we need to thank and reward them if they're not only achieving what's required, if they're exceeding. Such type of reward philosophy we don't have. And you can remember when sometimes we lose a match and we pay them like...
No, it's relative. I mean, whenever it's the Ghana catastrophe, the 6-1,
yeah,
it's terrible.
Yes, it's terrible.
But whenever it's 1-0 or something and it's not that important, or we do have another chance, then it can be tolerated, I would say so. But whenever it's not tolerated, and whenever we for instance got used to have the African Champions League or the African Cup of Nations, I'm sorry, for 3 consecutive times.
But this is achievement.
Yes, but after that, not even to be able to qualify.
It's shameful, yeah.
Yeah.
It's shameful for us, yeah.
We are going to continue, and in details, what about the national team, the selection, the squad, the statements by Cooper, everything, but after having this report. Our dear guest, Mohammed Mesbah, was also there in this forum by the Sports Culture Organization, and it was about how to add more technology into the world of football, how even to turn football not only from, I mean, not to be only a hobby or a game, but to an industry. Why, Scott? This is an Italian company. Company or an organization?
It's an organization.
An organization which introduced a new way of dealing with things in general. service or a platform, whenever you do have, for instance, to contract a player, you're going to know everything and in details about him. The referees, the coaches, everyone can benefit from the whole story, and this is, of course, for the best interest of the football arena in Egypt. Details in the following report. Welcome back. Well, just in few minutes, I'll be able to know everything and in detail about a player whom I want to contract. And for not only player, for instance, you know that we spent, I think, more than 3 months searching for a coach for our national team.
Yeah.
If we were into the service, it would be much easier.
Yeah, that's true. It's very simple. Technology is playing very important role in our life. It's linked with the management itself and the leadership. Nowadays, we still have a traditional ways in doing things, and this will never make us grow. Searching by doing a traditional way will never. Usually, we are saying find an innovative way. You'll find an innovative solution. You'll find an innovative product at the end of the day. What is the story simply? Nowadays, there is something called platform. Platform, this is, I can say, technology tool, gathering all information from every place. Information itself is a good word. It came from data. For example, they are collecting matches from all over the world. They are collecting matches from, I can say, UK, Spain, Latin America, and they put it in a system. It's useless except if they convert it to information.
Yeah.
How they convert it to information? Making summary for it, making, I can say, snapshot from each player and each whatever coach or whatever required, and put in the system. Like you're using a social media nowadays, Twitter and Facebook, and for example, if you'd like to search for something, you just write the name. The same concept, but for the technology and football, I can say, side. For example, if I'm searching for football, first, we need to have a criteria for this. Are we searching for someone who have experience with African clubs or African national team, or as you mentioned, or for example, based in Egypt or based in Italy, whatever. Then you start to put your criteria, and then you click. By clicking, you will have a list of all people making your criteria. In business, it's called recruitment. It's called hit hunting for the people. And this is free tool. Contact them direct or through the official agent for them. And even we felt a lot of funny stories about the agent and how it's funny they're sending you a player and then you realize it's not the same name or all this after you invite him and you spend time. We felt all in that. By this,
Muhammad, we do have a problem even in finding referees for the derbys of Al Ahly and Zamalek.
That's true.
I mean, whenever you whenever you are contacted, yes, the last minute issue, or it's gonna be Slim Al Gudaid.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yes,
he's the guy ready to come to us.
Yes, the guy is ready, and of course he's most welcome every time. But whenever we are speaking about this, we should not miss scouting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because I think there are a lot of talents who are here and there, but they are hidden. And
that's true.
And whenever you do not have the right tool, they are gonna remain hidden.
That's true. Even for players itself.
Yes.
If we don't have such type of platform, we offer our players in this. You can't imagine that sometimes there's the chairman of Barcelona, he can go himself in this and give his opinion.
Sure.
And there's the people that are specialized. They're paying them salaries to do that, to filtrate and prepare. African players, they're playing this very well. In France and Belgium and different clubs. They are just preparing CD or whatever, and they send their CV.
I don't know why it reminded me with the LinkedIn issue.
Yeah, it's not that much. Even LinkedIn, it's you know that Mr. Barack Obama himself, he had a meeting with the founders like a couple of years ago because they're thinking to change the privacy for LinkedIn itself. I think this is a very important point that they can go into this. The problem, to be honest, that the culture and the educational level for employees is not that sophisticated.
Yeah.
Even outside Egypt, I can tell you the same. But what they are doing that. They bring a kind of consultant to do that. They bring a kind of coach who can do that for them.
I think that this is implemented in Latin America in specific.
Yeah.
In specific.
That's true.
No, I mean, with the introduction of more of the Latin American football, especially in the last edition of the World Cup, I think it's going to be more efficient, and it's going to be implemented in a broader way, because this is going to be a source of income.
Exactly.
Whenever you're talking about Honduras, about Chile, and about Mexico, because whenever you are introduced to those players who were that much hidden, I mean, for instance, for me, I didn't know much about those players except after watching them in the World Cup.
That's true.
So now they can propagate for themselves.
That's true. And there is the tools to do that. I can tell you, it's in all business and all industries. It can't happen. It's happened in football. It's happened in all sports. But we need to think about that. We need to think. I don't like to say outside the box. We need to think like there is no box, and we create it. We need to have a different way of thinking. Our player, we have a lot of talent. We have a people able to go out. We have a people, I can say, they have a kind skilled to do the job, which is football itself. But they can't offer themselves in the market easily, even for the coach itself. It's not only.
Then Mohamed Salah was that lucky?
Mohamed Salah was lucky to go out, but there is no person lucky from my opinion. He's a person.
Let's read this, and then we're going to turn back. Bundesliga side Wolfsburg are expected to vie fiercely for Mohamed, says after his Fiorentina loan spell ends by the end of the season. According to Italy's La Gazzetta, those were the statements said by Wolfsburg after being reportedly linked with Serie A leaders Juventus, who were at the receiving end of Salah's explosive form at Viola after he scored 2 goals against them in Coppa d'Italia. There seems to be more clubs keen on landing the Egyptian next summer.
Yes. Something is, if we are talking about planning for Salah himself, he needs to think very smart, because now he's in the period that the people need him. After 2 or 3 years, his age will be higher. The opportunity.
He's only 22.
No, I think he's 23 plus.
No, whether 22 or 23, no more than this.
But if he reaches 26, 27, that's what I mean. If there's a consultant for Mohamed Salah, professional consultant, he will tell him, okay, you are extremely nice one. You're doing extremely. At this time, you need to pick the right team for you, because when you go old, the opportunity to go to higher club, if you think the strategy for those clubs is maximum 25, 26 maximum, that means we are here trying to give a kind of maybe an advice for this. From a professional point of view, he's doing extremely well. We are all proud that we have an Egyptian player who's scoring goals, and his name with, I can say, famous Italian players. But it's very important that he have such type of planning for his life and his career as a football player. Because at this stage, I think he needs to go to an A-class club. I'm talking about A-class, maybe Juventus, maybe Man United, maybe Real Madrid, or whatever. Then he spent years there, then he built, I can say, an amazing history after he reached 30 plus. This is how I see it, because I was reading his profile. Sometimes it's required a kind of coaching. It's not only a football, it's kind of management, because all such A-class teams, they are not searching for a person who will already, because they consider him as a kind of player.
Investment,
exactly.
Investment.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Or he's going to end like Javi.
Yeah.
Barcelona star Javi to join Qatari side Asad next season. Barcelona and Spain midfielder Javi Hernandez had signed for Qatari side Al Sadd for next season, and it was confirmed by the club officials on Saturday.
This is not the first time with the Qatari.
Yeah, I know. I think he's following the steps of others.
I think Batistuta from Egypt, it's different. Yeah, but this is I can say, I'm sorry to say that, but this is a stage of collecting money.
Yes, no more, no less.
Yes. Exactly.
And he is already 35. Raul also, I think, played for Sadd. I think it was 2012, 2014, 2014 season for 2 years. But as you said, this is only collecting money.
They are officially out of the football world. Now they're enjoying the life in Gulf with a lot of benefits. Maybe they don't have, and then collecting money. Beckham was more smarter, because after he reached the point, he went to, this is I can say, a person who is considered as an icon. He went to US, and his goal, not only he was collecting money, but he started to make a brand for football there, and he started to make a kind of new fan for football. It's different with thought, but as you can see, how he think about it.
Mohammed, let's put an end to our press digest because we do have a lot of other things we have to speak about, but let's end with FIFA taking the wrong approach to development, says Prince Ali. FIFA presidential candidate Prince Ali ibn al-Hussein of Jordan believes that World Soccer's governing body is taking the wrong approach to development of the sport, leaving many national associations without basics such as kit and pitches. He said FIFA was irresponsible to decide the allocation of slots for the 2018 World Cup on the day after the presidential election in May, and that spending $27 million on a film about itself was an example of poor management. I'm going to end with this if you do have a comment, because we do have other things to speak about.
FIFA, in general, I can say it's not, this is my opinion, maybe it's not a perfect organization. There's a lot of things, I don't like to say that, but there's a lot of stories about corruption itself. There's a lot of selection, seems to be very weird and very strange.
Last but not least, to have the World Cup of 2022
like
in November and to have the final match
December,
on the 18th of December, the national day of Qatar.
Exactly, exactly. And selecting Qatar, I was in Qatar like months ago. Qatar is smaller than Cairo. I have all respect for all countries, personally.
Sure.
I have respect for everybody. But from a professional point of view, from business point of view, if this is the right selection, I don't think the people who will go there can fit in the city itself. They are belting now in the water. But the weather there is very hot. It's very hot. They are going to in December. Why you need to change as an international organization? My question, why you need to change your policies and regulations?
And this is going to spoil the calendar of all the European leagues.
Exactly, exactly. Yes. Because it's linked with the European Cup, and it's linked with everything will be
And this
changed.
is the industry we're talking about.
Yeah.
Here we're talking about losses of money, which are
for sponsors,
huge.
for seasons.
Yeah, for everything.
Yes, because football is linked with a lot of things. Linked sometimes with the water product, and maybe I can say the all products. It's sometimes linked with the football. It's industry. It's not only. It's related with the time. That means it's again. It's a kind of I can say favoritism to Qatar to do it. It's like you are trying to fit the country with the World Cup, and it will never happen like that. It should be, you have like own strategy, own planning, and the country should be adapted to that. What you are doing
Not vice versa.
Yes, exactly. Now they're making everything aligned with what they require. When I was reading the news that they
a horse in front of the cart.
Yes. Exactly.
Or a cart in front of the horse.
Yes.
We are going to live a little bit now with such a nice report. People with visual impairment or they are blind, this does not mean that they cannot practice sports or they cannot be masters in any field. In football, yes, amen to that. After the report, we are going to be back with our dear guest, Mohammed Mesbah. Yes, and Ali, I was honored to have him. He's that much having this zeal and enthusiasm about those who were such good players, and you know they did not even need to have psychiatrists or people to manage their inability, because they do not see that they are unable to do anything.
Yeah.
They are really great.
Yeah.
We have just 3 minutes, and I'd like to return back just for those few minutes to speak about our national team.
Yeah.
Cooper said that he is not going to name a real squad except after 4 months.
Yeah.
Do you think that this period is going to be pretty enough for him to choose and to pick and to witness and to manage?
Yeah, I think it's fair enough, because in such type of I can say we can't wait a lot. 4 months is enough to select, to make your scanning. You need to use your technology. You need to use your the support team. You need to have a meeting with the coach. You need to specify. We need to utilize the coach or the person, the expats we bring to Egypt. They need to work hard to achieve it. Whatever you agree or disagree with Garrido, he's making a very good planning. He studied well. Maybe he's not achieving sometimes or not.
Al Ahli's Juan Carlos Garrido?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's working more than from 10 to 12 hours per day. That's he's trying to study well. He's the person bring the African player recently. He's a very good player. I don't know about the Brazilian one, which is Henry. I don't know yet, but they're saying his talent because it's a kind of coming to Egypt to do a business or coming to Egypt to see the pyramids. It's totally big difference. If we have a kind, I don't like to say that, but it's important, stress management. That did you spend time to see that? Did you spend time? It's not a micromanagement.
Yes.
If the person who's qualified enough, if you're dealing with you, it easy, the people taking it easy and just spend a good time and go, like we faced before. 4 months is enough. You have a lot of tools, you have a lot of support. Mr. Galan Alam himself, is supporting him. He can have a meeting with all coaches. He can spend 4 times is fair enough for him to achieve and deliver to football. We can't wait for a year for him to say, I'm still studying and all that. Our principle that you need to have a plan and go for it. All support provided to you. You are already comfortable. You have your assistant. Why you should wait for a year to achieve that? I don't think. Yeah.
No, not a year, but only with the resumption of the Egyptian Premier League, when he had the ability to go and to watch and to pick, and of course even to witness and to absorb the way of thinking and the mental fitness and the way the players are taking his directives and his instructions. You know, to have this coherence, or to be able to make this harmony. I think that this is the most important issue.
Yeah, it's important, but at the end of the day, coach is not a person who's putting a plan only. He should have a charisma to influence them.
Sure.
He should have a personality to manage that. He should have a good eye of selecting the right people for our national game. And it's not required a lot of time. Even if he selected like 80% right, it's better than nothing. Because at the end of the day, the people saying, I'm still, and nothing will be achieved by them.
And just giving a look even to our juniors, if I'm going to speak about Ahli, Karim Bambu and Ramadan Subhi, and for the goalkeepers, Abdel Kafi Ragab or Karim Ragab and Mus'ad Awad, and we do have a lot of others. We are going to speak about those, and we are going to speak about many other issues, but in another episode of Score Sheet, we are going to leave you with a promise that you are going to be our guest once again.
This is my pleasure to be with you again.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. This is my pleasure.
Before we go, let me thank our dear guest live here in there, Mohammed Mesbah, the sports expert in the field of technology and management. Before we go, please stay tuned only on Nile TV International, always for more updates and news and programs. And for more details, please log on to www.nileinternational.net. On behalf of Muhammad Rabia, Amr Fathallah, and our staff here of Studio 35, myself, Nermeen Abdurrahman, many thanks for watching and have a very good night.